Here in this tutorial, you will learn how to register, edit, and test a community API, meaning an API which will be hosted and managed by the service developers, and also test and edit your API. In order to register a community-supported API, you should first select the Register App link here in the home page, or the Register App link through the top menu. Then, you should fill out a registration form shown here in this page. Please note that the asterisk beside of a field means that the field is mandatory. Therefore, the mandatory fields for registering a community API are API name, description, sample API call, app providers' names, and app providers' affiliations. As an example here, we can register a Find Nearest City API and put a short description for that. This description can be, this API receives geographic coordinates and finds the nearest city to the specified coordinates. Next step is to provide the sample API call. This URL is used for calling the API and contains the URL of the API followed by a series of parameters with default values. Note that the default values of some parameters may be empty, and it is allowed. This way, OpenNEX App Store can automatically extract all parameters along with the default values and record them for later support. For example, for allowing you to rerun your previous API calls. As an example, we provide this URL as our sample API call. As you can see, longitude and latitude are two parameters used in this API with default values of 34 and -118. The next fields are the app providers' names and affiliations. Here, for example, we fill them as SOC team and the Carnegie Mellon University. In the registration process, you can also provide a homepage URL, which is a cover page for your API, and can include an introduction of your API content, goal, usage scenarios, as well as introduction of your team and developers, techniques used, and etc. Also, by clicking on the Upload App thumbnail, you are guided to upload a picture or a diagram of your API. Finally, you must read and accept the NASA Web Privacy Policy and NEX Terms and Conditions. This field is also mandatory. By clicking the Register button, the registration process will be finished. Then you should be able to see your API in the App and Dockers list link. By clicking the columns on this list page, you can sort columns and find your API. Selecting the link provided for your API will lead you to the detail page. In this page, you can see all the information about your API. You can both edit and delete your API here in this page. In the Edit page, you can change any detail regarding your API. Here, you can also provide more descriptions for your API's parameters so that people can easily find out what values they should use when running your API. After changing your API details, you should select the Update button so that the changes can be saved. Then you should be automatically redirected to the API detail page. You can also verify if your API is ready to use by selecting the Try API button in the API detail page. This page shows all the parameters provided in your sample URL call for your API along with the default values. Selecting the Try API button will show the result of your API call. This invocation is for trial only and will not be logged as an execution in the OpenNEX.